on my Area 51 line. You're on the air. Hello.
Welcome to the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast, where what you've known as reality will be shattered by the truth. Krista and Brandy will lift the veil from your eyes, revealing what has either been hidden or denied you for eons.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Travel a little bit. You know, we've been traveling all day, so
Yeah.
a little tired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we, Brandy and I had asked you guys to come on because we really didn't know, you know, where we were going to be, if we were going to get service. And we get service. And obviously, but as you guys can see, we're missing somebody. And so only on Blondes and Booze will you see Brandy doing a show from the bathroom.
Yep.
Hi, everybody.
I kept saying that she should.
Do, honestly,
I kept saying that you should flush the toilet every now and then.
Yeah, courtesy.
I
flush.
can.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, you know, if I have to use the restroom, I could just mute and, you know, shut off the camera quick and do my business and be done. I mean, I got my soap for washing my hands. You know, there's lotion. You know, I could be, you know, well, I'm fine. Got everything.
No, actually, you're the only one right now that can do that. I mean, if we'd have to leave.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, are y'all jealous? Are you jealous?
Yeah, I am a little bit because I've had a lot to drink right now. Water,
huh?
I mean, I'm in here with the crappy lighting. It's just kind of like, come on now. Here we are. I mean, I have my shower.
Yeah.
Just don't have to go very far. It's pretty nice.
Not very far at
You
all.
probably get a lot of views to go in there and take a shower.
Well, you know,
Just
Paul had
saying.
a really good idea. I should have put a dummy or something in there and then turn on a light somehow back there so it's like backlit. So you see this body in there. I mean, that'd be great.
Well, that's something to keep in mind. Something to keep in mind next time you do a live show from the bathroom.
Right.
There you go.
But I've got to tell you something. This happened. Chris was setting up the show and everything, and you know, I'm trying to braid my hair up and get a hat on, and you know, so I'm bending over, and I hear these people coming down the hall, and I caught this flash by the door, and this black shadow went from one side to the other, like super quick. You know, I was like, I thought somebody was opening the door. Honestly, I thought somebody was opening the door. I said, Krista, did you see that? I said, there was a shadow that went from one side of the door to the other. And she goes, no, I didn't see it. And then we both went, oh, great. But it didn't, you know, we always talk about this thing coming with me on trips
Right.
and how it likes to bother everybody else. I think when it hurt those people coming down the hall, that perhaps that it just went out the door and it's going to bother them until we leave.
Yeah. Yep. And Brandy, real quick, BJ asked, where's the mustard?
It's right here. It's right here. I got mustard. Right there.
So it was funny because so we stopped at Whataburger's today, and yeah, Brandy can't eat a Whataburger and drive.
No, because I was cussing up a storm because I dropped a piece of lettuce that had mayonnaise on my shirt. So I'm like, oh my God, I got mustard on my shirt now, and that made me mad, you know, because I'm like, man,
Mayonnaise or mustard? I'm confused.
It was mustard.
It was mustard.
Mustard. It was Whataburger.
I was like, why are you putting mayonnaise on a Whataburger?
Yeah, she just can't eat it. And somebody
Mustard.
asked why we're in the bath or why she's in the bathroom. So she actually tried to sit out here to do the show. However, there was a bad echo, and then there's only one chair in our room So we couldn't sit by each other to do it. So Brandy made herself at home in the bathroom to do the show. So
There it
Actually,
is.
was bad food in
You
Arkansas.
know, and I
There-
have to say that this lid is kind of squeaky. It makes a lot of noise when you move. So there it is.
That's too funny. That is too funny. So anyway, it's been quite a day, and yeah, it just doesn't end. So anyway, we appreciate
so
everybody tuning in. Yep. And I see Kevin Hammerschmidt is in chat, and he sent Brandy and I some dinner money, and we appreciate that. So thank you very much for that. And
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you. So anyway, we have Harley here with us tonight, and he's a great guy. He's been on Paul's show, he's been on BMR's show, and it's the first time that we have him on Blondes and Booze. And I am going to bring him up. Hey, Harley.
Hey, Harley.
How are you?
You're muted.
Yeah, you're muted. We can't hear you.
No, you're
There we go. Yeah, it's
There
been a long day.
Yeah.
A long day at work and just a long day in general. But you know, to here finally on Blondes and Booze, and I'm tickled to death about it.
Well, we're glad you can
Awesome.
make it. Yeah. You have some interesting things that have happened. You know, for those that don't know you, you want to like tell everybody a little bit about yourself, how you got into this weird stuff?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So after graduating high school, my dad was a lineman, and I didn't want to really do that. I wanted to pursue something different. So my parents' neighbor had an auction company called Tri-State Auction Realty. What they done was they'd go around and work up sawmills, clean them up, sell all the equipment and everything, and auction them off. So we traveled pretty much everywhere on the East Coast. I mean, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia, North, South Carolina, pretty much anywhere. And so in 2020, September 20, it was in September, we went up to a place called Pound, Virginia. And I was up there for 2 weeks, and everybody else was just up there for a week. But that week prior, we got up there and just checking everything out. We talked with the owner of this place, and he was warning us about the bear. And I asked him, I remember I said, is a pretty good sized bear? He said, yeah, but there's far worse things in these mountains than that. And that's something I'll never forget, because now looking back on that, there is a lot more in these mountains. And so I was going through my head at that point in time. I was ruling in Black Panthers, because, you know, I didn't believe in Bigfoot or anything like that. And I was like, he's talking about Black Panthers, because I always heard the stories about them growing up. And my old 6th grade history teacher, he was always telling the story of how him and his little girlfriend were in the car up in the mountains, and this big old Black Panther was propped up on the hood of the car and was looking in at them. And that was a story that I'll never forget. He was probably one of my most favorite teachers ever that I had in school. So going on through the rest of that week, we cleaned up the sawmill and all that stuff, and nothing really happened. And so the auction was on a Saturday, and, you know, it was going good. And my boss came up to me. He said, "You want to stay up here another week and help people load up their equipment and stuff?" And I said, "Yeah." So auction was over. I went back to the hotel. Sunday came around, and I was kind of trying to hope that I could finish up early and get to leave earlier, because I had to check out by Friday. And so it was raining. So I left the hotel and went out to the job site, and hopped on the Kubota skid steer and was picking up pallets and stuff and looking at the paperwork to see who bought what. And so I got done doing what I needed to do, because the list was just a couple of pages long. So I got done, and I hopped off the skid steer, and I walked around the wood line. And I'm sitting there walking around the wood line, and I can see a trackway that leads along this deer trail. And I'm like, well, this those are odd looking tracks. And I kept looking at them, and there was 2 or 3 that were really good ones, and I'm just like, well, that's a Bigfoot. And then I jokingly told myself, this is Bigfoot. And then I kept sitting there, I was rationalizing. I was like, okay, there's got to be just a really big homeless person out here or something along those lines, because I wear a size 12 boot, and it dwarfed mine, and I was just ruling out anything. So Monday, nothing happened. Tuesday, it was a Tuesday, nothing happened. And then Wednesday, September 23rd, that was a day that changed my life forever. So I got out there that morning, and I was running a little late. I remember it. And there was a guy sitting up there at the gates, because there was a gate up on top of the hill that I had to unlock. And then we had to drive down into this big long holler and unlock another gate. So I'm getting there. I was stressed out. I was like, I'm not going to hear the end of this. I'm late. And which I had it pretty lenient, because he was Dad's neighbor and all that. So I unlocked that first gate. We get down into the bottom, and I remember noticing that I wasn't seeing as much wildlife as what I had any other morning, because there was always deer or turkey, or there was a coyote in there one morning. But that morning there was nothing, and that was stuck with me. So we kept going in after the second gate, and I get in there, I hop on the skid steer, and he had like maybe 2 or 3 pallets. I knew it wasn't very many. I popped on skid steer, put him on the forks, and threw the pallets on his truck. He went on about his day, and nobody else came in there for the rest of that day. And I remember distinctly, I was on my phone on the skid steer, and there wasn't no phone service, so I could just play little games that didn't need phone service. I think I was playing Angry Birds, if I'm not mistaken. I'm almost positive it's what I was playing. But the lunchtime came around, and it was about 1:30, 1:40. I got out of the skid steer. I went to the service truck to get a Coca-Cola and a peanut butter sandwich out of my cooler. And I hear this growlish grunt, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm just trying to process everything. And I'm like, that's a sound that I'm not really familiar with. And I heard it again, and I kept looking over towards the wood line, and I just could not figure out what it was. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm just trying to rationalize, okay, this has got to be a bear. And sure enough, I hear it again, and I looked up on this cliff face, because I was down in this flat, and then there's a cliff face that's over to the left and the right side of this valley, and I'm seeing this black movement moving through the brush. I'm like, okay, this is that bear. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm looking, and as I looked down and I looked back up, that's when I seen it leaning out looking at me, and I was like, holy cow, this ain't a bear. This is something completely different. And, it's doing the peekaboo thing. It's leaning in, leaning out, and looking. Are you about to be sick?
And I need 4 because I got a shit.
My wife's about to be sick. Hang on just 1 second.
Oh, no.
It's going around, even in Tennessee, where he's at. Paul, your whole family just got over that.
Yeah. We certainly
Paul made everybody sick. I'm telling you.
I think it's my fault. I'm sorry. Jeez.
Paul, did you have it too? I mean, not Paul, Tex?
I had a little bout of it. Yeah, I had to bounce out of a show early and not do the next one. And like, curse you, Paul.
Wow.
I was actually doing a recorded interview with Lady Ann, and she was given an answer. It was like an hour 10 into it, and I have no idea what her answer was. I just felt like I was about to pass out, and I quickly ended it. Told her goodbye and everything, and I was done.
Wow.
So that was.
See, and the better part is that I'm in the perfect spot.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, hour 6. Yeah, I'd already be here.
Yeah.
On with the show.
You have so many options right now available to you that we're jealous that we don't have, Brandy.
Sorry.
I know,
take care of my
gotta
big
sink
baby.
toilet in the shower.
She okay?
Yeah, she had stomach surgery earlier this year, and she thinks that she can have a little drink here and there, and her Sally's not used to it again yet, so she's in the process of sick. But
I
as I
understand that.
and she fell off the bed. So yeah,
Uh-oh.
she got cut on the back of her leg. I don't know if she's gonna have to have stitches or not. So we're still in the process of renovating this new place. It's different living in a camper.
Well,
I
we
will
wish
say
her
that.
well. We hope she gets better, gets to feeling better.
Yeah, she had 4 surgeries back in January 2nd. 4 surgeries in one. They removed her gallbladder, removed 80% of her stomach, and some other things. So yeah.
Oh, and if she thinks she can drink a lick of alcohol, she's sadly mistaken.
Randy
Yeah.
drinking a little bit of alcohol.
I drank 6 of them.
She said she drank 6 of them. She's bragging about it.
Did
That's why, right?
did she have the mini sleeve?
Did you have the mini sleeve?
I had the full sleeve.
The full sleeve.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like the same thing I had.
Oh, Tex said he had none.
Hell yeah.
6 months, darling. You can have all you want.
6 months, he said. After that, you can have all you want. She's shaking her head no.
Not doing it again.
She's not doing
Not
it
doing
again.
it again. She's not making that mistake.
That's smart.
My butt hurts so bad from falling.
All right, go lay down. You need to lay down.
I love you.
I love you.
I'm fixing to throw up.
I don't want to know about it. If you throw up, you throw up. Love her to death, but Lord of mercy, she keeps me going. She keeps me sane. She keeps the wild side of me going.
I can tell.
Only on a live show. Only on a live show.
If only from Harley Owens can you get the realest of the realness.
I like this girl already.
Like you already.
Oh, that's too funny.
If
Oh my
you come to our conference, make sure you bring her with you.
Haven't heard me throw up.
I'll bring her. I'll be sure to bring her. Oh my goodness.
Harley.
What?
You better put yourself on mute. Put yourself on mute. Put yourself on mute. Somebody mute him.
He's on mute. He's muted.
Yeah.
He's gone. Okay.
Freaking down.
This is funny because so
I would love to go a week without hearing any puking noises. You know, that would be nice.
Oh,
only on our show. Let me tell you, like
I think she picked the wrong night, or he let her pick the wrong night, or
Yeah.
something.
yeah.
Oh man.
You know, if
He's
nothing
coming
else,
back. He's coming
I mean,
back.
I was really hoping that she would have held off for Friday to drink, but she took it up on herself today.
Yeah,
You know,
there you
it's
go.
all good. Seriously, like she could have picked a better show with Brandy having to be in the bathroom. You know, I mean, it just ties in. I'm just saying. Like David said,
that's what she needs.
Yeah, she's in the bathroom right now, so oh, Lord of mercy.
Oh, you know, I feel for her because a week after I had my surgery, we had the get together and fish fry down in Brown Springs, and I'm having to cook all this good fish that Pops brought, you know, and everything, and I can't eat any of it. I wasn't even on solid foods at the time.
No, she's eating pudding and stuff till about a month. Like she didn't trust anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I would take a bite of fish, chew it up, and then spit it out just so I could taste it.
Yeah, like
And he
T-Bone
did.
said,
And he
Yeah.
did.
great shorts.
Oh
Boy,
man.
Yeah,
Good God, we're
Oh.
gonna make some
Not
food. This
kidding.
is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna make great shorts. Yeah, there we go. We're gonna be famous back on YouTube. Blonde and Booze.
That's so
Yeah, it'd
funny.
be good
It's
shorts.
gonna be I mean,
I'm never eating fucking
I was laughing so loud I had to black myself out, shut off my mic.
So,
Oh, man.
Patty says, "Don't get no better than this, folks."
Yep.
Oh man,
Funny. And Joe says it's all good. I mean, really, anything can happen on a live show. And honestly, we've had some interesting shows. We even had a show that I had to pull down. So I will say what happened, but yeah.
Yes.
So it's happened, and I nothing's happened on the show that I need to pull it down. So it's all good.
And
Right,
Mickey,
No,
September is going to be off the chain.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Because let me tell you, because if this kind of thing happens, you are not safe. You're not, because you're going to be hearing about it for months.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, this is what's going to happen. You can't be part of the family if, you know.
I
Can't make
can
fun
I
of
can
you.
just see it now when they show up to the conference. Everybody's going to bring Pepto-Bismol and toilet paper
Imodium.
and
Imodium. Yeah.
Imodium. Get
Yes,
ready for it.
yes.
I'm getting
You know, yeah. Because we've had a few times, you know, and like I had a time with Rob where he was having some much fun, and Krista where she was having a lot of fun. Yeah, we've had a lot of fun, especially at conferences. So make sure you buy your tickets for 19th and 20th of September 2025 at Richmond, Missouri. You know, we're all going to be there. This is what it's like all the time, folks. We're not hiding the same.
Keep it real. Keeping it real.
Yeah. Chris
I can
Anderson says
guarantee you.
extremely high production here. Show here, folks. LOL. I've got my Tums ready.
And I can guarantee you, what you see is what you get, because it's just all it does. It just amps up when we're not on camera.
We're all
I'm
together.
telling
It
you,
really
but
does.
I don't
Yeah.
understand, you know, because
I don't know.
I mean,
It's something.
Krista was drunk calling Rob from the hotel trying to set him and Brandy up. I was
That was not me.
Absolutely.
Today?
Yes, it was too.
Oh,
Yes, it
man.
was. Yes,
That
it
was
was.
not me. That was Randy had his hand in on that. I had nothing. You, Tex. I called him drunk, but I was not trying to set him up with Brandy. Just saying.
Well, and then I had to be Rob's DD at another place, and then the next thing you know, he's all getting, you know, trying to flip around in his car, in the seat, and then I'm like, there's a cop right there. He almost made me get pulled over by the cops.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Lord
really.
mercy.
Come to our conference.
Yeah.
I will definitely do so. If I don't have anything, then I will definitely be there. 'Cause I gotta be there. I mean, I'll see y'all in May, but I gotta be there too.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll be there in May
Yeah.
for sure too. That'd be a fun one too.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
And
get back on the Bigfoot.
Anyway.
Let's get on track.
She's in bed. Yeah, we can get back on track. So,
Let's get on track. Put the train
So-
back on the tracks.
yeah, yes, yeah. I think she's good now. So.
Yeah.
Look. So when this thing was doing the peekaboo effect, I couldn't believe it, because when I seen it, I instantly knew what it was. I knew it was a Bigfoot, and, because we always had the stories growing up. My great grandpa, apparently said that he had seen one, and that is completely new knowledge to me. But he has done passed away. He passed away to the Lord 10 years ago, I think. But so, the only instinct that I had was to pull out the camera and take a picture of this thing. And, I pulled my phone out, I took the picture, and I had like 70-something% battery. And that was the weirdest thing. And it was a brand new iPhone 8 Plus at the time. It shut off, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? So this thing's still doing a peekaboo effect. It's looking out and it's looking at me, and it eventually just turns around and walks further up onto that ridge. So I ran to the truck, got in the truck, and I'm sitting there and I'm plugging the phone up, and it wasn't coming on. And then it finally comes on, and sure enough, I had the picture, and I was like, okay, all right. Well, later on that night, they started hollering. And I say they because I've had the audio analyzed, and there is more than one creature, based on the different tones and sounds that was being made. There's different individuals. So that next morning, I got back out there, and I'm parked, and nobody was in there that day. So I actually had time to walk around and look, and I found a trackway, and it was on a different game trail, but this game trail had eventually led up to the ridge that it was on. And so I'm 6'6" with the 12-inch boot, and I tried to do the stride in which these tracks were making, and I couldn't even come nowhere close. So looking back and how big it probably was, which it was probably about 60 yards away, and it was kind of up from me on the cliff. I was thinking it was at least 8.5 foot tall. So I'm sitting there just trying to wrap my mind around these tracks and everything. And later on Thursday evening, they started hollering again, not just 2 different times, but about 15 minutes apart. They sounded like they were further away. It wasn't as close sounding as it was the first night, because the first night that they were hollering, which was the night before the day that I'd seen the one, they were all around that ridge, because where I was at, I was in a bowl, and there was ridges on both sides of where I was at, and I was just down in the middle of it. And when they were hollering, it was just echoing in. And plus there was a big old metal building down there, and it just seemed like whenever they were howling and stuff, that the sound of them hollering just amplified. So that Friday came around, and I was leaving, and I went to a little drive-in diner called Robo's, and I seen these old timers sitting at the table. I was like, you know what? If anybody's gonna know what this is, it's going to be them. So I sat down and struck up conversation, and I said, "You boys ever seen anything weird around in these mountains?" And they all just got quiet, and they all looked back and forth at each other. And one of them said, "Well," and they said, "Well, what'd you see?" And I said, "This." And I showed them the picture of it, and I showed them the tracks, and I let them listen to the sounds, and they all got quiet. And then one of them said, "Well, that's the devil monkeys." And I was like, "Devil monkeys? So Bigfoot?" They like, "Yeah, devil monkeys, Bigfoot, wood boogers, mountain giants. It's all the same thing." And I was like, "All right, that's the only validation I need." So after that, I got home, and I started telling everybody. I was telling them, my parents, my siblings, close friends, immediate family, cousins, and grandparents. And apparently that wasn't what I seen. Apparently I didn't see a Bigfoot. Apparently it was a shadow. Apparently it was a bear. I had people tell me that the sounds that I recorded was elk or coon dogs. And, so I just shut it up. And after that, I didn't hunt for 3 years. And, it took a long toll on me. I loved hunting and fishing. I loved the outdoors. And so I ended up getting in lineman school in 2021, and I went and worked down in Georgia for 2 years, and then I came back into Tennessee and worked. So Thanksgiving of 2023, a little bit before that. So in August, by this point in time, the story is eating me alive. It's like, I have a story that needs to be told. My wife initially pushed me, she's like, you can share this story. And so I went on and was a guest on Bigfoot Society, and that was a big relief, and I jumped on a couple other podcasts, and then I was like, you know what, I need to get back in the woods, because the woods is my therapy. It's my home away from home. And so Thanksgiving of 2023, I went back out deer hunting, and I killed an 8-point buck, and I was like, this feels good. I can go out and look for these things. And it started from there. December 7th of 2023 was when I actually started doing the research, getting out and doing boots on the ground. So the biggest thing that I, regret was not starting this sooner, because when I started this, it was Scott Carpenter had done passed away, and he's a huge inspiration for what I do. He's just East Tennessee boy just like me, and he done a lot for this, and there's a lot of people that debated about his stuff, but his stuff was as legit as it gets, and I get out and go just as many as the areas as that he was going into. And I've since had more experiences with the Bigfoot, and I've had one visual run in with a dog man, but then my second encounter with a dog man, I never seen it, but I got a photograph of it, and it's all just amped up from there.
Did you send me that picture?
Do what?
Did you send me that picture?
Which one? Yo, yeah, the one that's standing in the creek bed.
I don't know if it's in a creek bed or not.
Yeah, I've sent it to you. It looks like a giant pit bull.
Yep.
Hang on, I'll send it to you.
I got it. I got it right here. I think.
Yeah, I think you want to see that.
Sorry, Tex.
So when you said you didn't go, didn't go back in the woods for 3 years. What was the main? I mean, what kept you from going back out there?
I thought it was initially a fear of the Bigfoot,
Right.
but what I've learned is there's a lot more in the Smoky Mountains and just Appalachia in general than just Bigfoot to worry about.
Yeah, let me tell you, it's not just there. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Yeah.
And I've said this before, any researcher worth their salt has, I guarantee you, ran into stuff that they cannot explain.
Mhm.
Just can't,
Yep.
And if you're purely in the flesh and blood camp, nothing else exists, there's nothing supernatural out there, you've got a problem, because you're going to run into stuff that you're going to, what was, you can't rationalize some of the stuff that you run into. You just can't.
I never seen an orb or anything like that until I started doing Bigfoot research. And now it's almost every time we go out and do a night investigation, we see orbs.
Yeah. Paul, you can play that or put that picture up whenever you're ready.
Okay. I think this is it, Harley. I'm not sure. Is that it?
Let's pull it up. Yeah, that's it. That's him. So Tex, a little backstory behind this. Myself and my stepdaughter's dad were out turkey hunting on this wildlife management area. Now, mind you, this is 20 minutes from downtown Knoxville. So this happened on April 28th. We went out, got out there about 4 o'clock that morning, and we got out of the vehicle because the sun was starting to come up. We started hiking down this trail, and we head off an owl call, and there's 2 toms gobbling off in the distance. So we pulled up a map to kind of figure out where they were going to be. And in the back of this wildlife management area next to the Tennessee River, there's 3 big open fields. And we get to going around back through this property, and we're going, and we get to these fields, and there's no turkeys there. So we just decide to head back and find another way back to the vehicle. So we find this trail that leads in behind this shed where they parked equipment, to tractors and stuff like that, to mow these fields down. And we get to walking, and I'm behind Hunter, and Hunter's in front of me. And I hear something as soon as we got into the wood line, I could hear something start following us to my right. And I wasn't going to say anything to Hunter until he had heard it. So we're going up this dried up creek bed, and I'm still hearing this thing keeping pace with us. And I was like, he's got to hear this. And we get to the point where this tree was, and you can see that tree in the picture there. We had to pull ourselves up out of this creek bed by that fallen tree. So, like I said, I'm a tall little boy, so I had to reach up and pull myself up out of there. Hunter was about 6'2", 6'3", and we pull ourselves up out of there, and we get to the point literally where I took the picture, and he said, "There's something following us." I said, "Yeah, it's been following us for about 20 minutes. He said, "What is it?" I said, "It's probably a Bigfoot." He said, "Are you serious?" He said, "They're going to be this close in the population areas." I said, if I learned anything from Scott Carpenter, I said, they're going to be in these wildlife management areas. He said, "Okay." He said, what do we do? I said, I'm going to take some pictures. He said, seriously? I said, yeah. So I took a picture. I turned around. I took a picture to the left of me. I took a picture straight in front of me, and I took a picture to the right. And I said, all right, let's go. So we get back to the vehicle. He brings me back home and drops me off. Man, I didn't see anything in that first picture. But when I got to that second one, which was right straight in the creek bed that we came out of, that thing is standing in it. And I sent that to him. He said, dude, he said, what the hell is that? I said, that's a dog, man. I said, you're lucky you didn't see that, or you wouldn't go back in the woods again. I mean, it literally looks like a giant pit bull.
Yeah.
Hey, can you send me the original picture, or the original file?
I have it. Yeah, I can get it to Paul, and Paul can get it to you.
Okay, I'd like to do some work on it.
Yeah, I've sent that to a lot of people, and they just get baffled by it because they don't know what it is. I mean, I've had a lot of people say it is a dog man. Some people say it's something else, but I do know that when I looked right there, there was no stump or anything. There's just nothing there. And then in the picture, that thing's standing there.
Did and we talk about this all the time, but when so you saw this thing at the time that you took the picture?
Oh no! I never
you didn't
saw
know
it
until you looked at the picture. Okay.
Mhm.
And you may already be doing this, but I'm going to suggest this to you anyway. When you take, like when you're taking a picture in front of you, you take one on the side, and take a series of 3 every time. Click, 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 click. Okay. That way, you can, if it moves, you have a better chance of catching the movement. Okay.
Right.
So, and it will also help debunk stuff yourself. Okay. But I'm going to suggest that to you.
Regardless, I think there's
it
something
will help you
there.
out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Looks like a dog man to me.
And here's the funny thing. So I had an individual reach out to me that lives in Greenville, Tennessee. He deer hunted in the Cherokee National Forest, and he had a very, very terrifying encounter. He was escorted out of the woods by 3 Bigfoot, but he grew up right next to that wildlife management area. And he had a buddy in high school that was out there with his dad hanging up tree stands. And he wandered away from his dad, and he found a cave. And he said he could hear something rummaging around through that cave. And he said next thing that he knew, that there was a gray werewolf, as he described, coming out of that cave. And he said, what you got, he said, that just verifies that there's a population of those things living in that area.
Wow. How close is this area to your house? Is it pretty close?
This area is about an hour away from my house. I mean, it's literally 20 minutes from downtown Knoxville. It's called Forks of the River Wildlife Management Area. And that's what I've been telling people. These wildlife management areas, whether they're testing sites for these genetically made ones or what, I don't know. But I do think that some of these dogmen and some of these Bigfoot are purely natural, but some of these other ones are not.
Yeah. Wow. Pretty incredible.
I think they hang out in the wildlife management areas and the for a few reasons. One, they're loaded; they're packed with freaking game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you're not going to find a wildlife management area that doesn't have clean, fresh water.
Yeah, the Tennessee River runs right beside of it.
There you go. And there's probably a few springs off in there too.
Yep, we found a couple of springs.
Yeah. Cover goes without saying, plenty of that, but it's also, there's not a bunch of people that roam through there, and it's managed. You think these things don't learn when the guns are going off? They know what to look for. They know what to smell for. They know a lot of things. And I'm not saying every one of them knows when your butt hits the brush, but the odds are something is watching you when you get out of the truck, or
It'll
very
see you
short.
before you see it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's face it, folks. We're loud and we stink. Okay, I'm just.
Speak for yourself.
I'm loud and I stink. Okay?
Right, Brandy, tell them.
But yeah, you're not going to camouflage yourself from these things.
No.
You're just not going to do it.
No.
Everybody's wondering about, well, why don't we just set up trail camps? Plastic stinks. Okay.
And they can see the infrared.
Well, but there's a way around that. But plastic stinks. We leave our sin on it. I mean, and they're watching us most of the time anyway. So,
Exactly right. Exactly right. Yep.
And just let's say that it doesn't smell the camera. It doesn't smell your scent on the camera itself. But it knows you've been in the area. I guarantee you it knows you've been in the area. So
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, we as people can smell plastic. We know, what plastic smells like. So
Right.
I know if I can smell it, they can smell it. I know if I can see that infrared, they can see that infrared. Because I don't think that the DNA is too far apart. You know what I mean? It's not that far
not when
apart.
you're talking about. Now I don't know about Dogman.
That's a different
Who knows?
animal.
Yeah, that's a different
what do
hole
I say?
down.
What do I say, Tex? Dogman does what Dogman does.
That's right.
That's
right.
I don't know. It's a whole different thing.
It is. It is. That's a whole different can of worms when you open that.
But I will say this about trail cams, and you may have heard this. I don't know, but a lot of people don't realize this. There's two different types of trail cams. A lot of the trail cams do both functions. You can choose. There's active IR and passive IR. Active IR is emitting a beam of infrared, and when something breaks it, that's when you get that's when it triggers. That's why cameras that you get all these, if a leaf moves or whatever and it triggers the camera, that's the ones that are active IR. Passive IR senses infrared. It senses body heat and it only triggers then.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're called PIRs. The camera type is PIR. Look on your game cams. It may have a function where you can switch it back and forth. Okay.
Okay. I've got brown, so I don't know if they have that or not. They're just old Brownings.
Yeah, well, and they may not. I don't know. But the passive IRs, if anything, they're cheaper than the active IRs that I've found.
I believe it.
I picked up 5 of them several years ago for less than $100.
Oh wow.
Wow. So but there again, you kind of get what you pay for. So I didn't get the best, but I was trying stuff out, but they're still useful. They're still useful. Now, something I've been experimenting with is I want to use the active IR cameras. Okay. Cause they avoid them. We know that. Mm-hmm. If we can force them to avoid the IR, into a passive IR camera trap.
Oh,
that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, and that's something that I've been working on. I've been building some feeding stations, and what I'm going to do is going to put this feeding station right in the middle of these cameras. So if they want it, they're going to have to try and get in there to go get it. So, and I put my cameras about 7.5, 8 feet up because I got my climbing gear and stuff. And if I really wanted to, I could probably put them up higher. But that's the biggest thing, because that's what Scott Carpenter would do. He would put a feeding station right in the middle, and he'd have a triangle system. So he'd have a camera facing the camera, and they would come in and get the food and stuff. And he would get DNA samples doing all that. He put the packing tape around the trees, and whenever would come in and lick the bacon grease off of the trees.
So, something else you may try too, as far as camera placement. Not many people do it. I've heard. I haven't done it yet. I've been meaning to, but I've heard some people getting some good results, and that's putting it at the base of the tree, kind of angled up.
Oh, that's different. Yeah.
Yep. And Bear County Bigfoot says deploy voice recorders as well. It's tedious work listening to hours of audio, but it can be very rewarding.
Oh, that's how my buddy Tim does. My buddy Tim Deals, he puts audio recorders out. Hey, he's got audio. I don't remember how long he said it was, but you can hear the bipedal footsteps walk up to this audio recorder, and you can hear it just start snapping twigs right in beside the audio recorder. Hours of it just snapping sticks.
Wow. Very cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Appreciate the advice, Rod.
Yeah, I listen to hours and hours and hours of audio and watch hours and hours and hours of video. So yeah, it does get tedious.
It does.
But it, a lot of times it yields great results.
Oh yeah, and I do what Scott done. I record behind me a lot of the times, and it's very, very tedious to run through that back trail camera, but sometimes it pays off, and and that's I have some things that I don't really show, but because it can be kind of questionable, but I've been in this area for well over a year now. I know what's supposed to be there. I know we're just pretty much a general idea of everything is that, but it's still very, very tedious work.
Have you have y'all camped out there at night?
I do not by myself. The only time I go out at night is with my buddy Rick when he comes down. We actually had, I don't know if it was a Bigfoot that roared at us or what, but we were listening to Hulk Hogan talk at the Republican convention, and we were sitting there, and this thing roars, and when this thing roared, it reverberated through your chest. Like you felt it was a primal fear. It wasn't a fear. It was a primal fear. That it was, that you're not the top thing in the woods. And I looked over at Rick, and Rick looked over at me, and we both had the same expression on our face. And he was talking to his wife. He said, "I got to go, Bobby. I got to go." He said, "We got something roaring at us." And that was insane. And there was another instance in there when we were in there at night. And so there are cemeteries all throughout the Great Smoky Mountains. Some of them are old, but we were sitting here at this cemetery, and we had seen a couple of orbs prior to what happened next, and we were running the thermal through the woods, and Rick sees an orb on the thermal. It's moving through the woods on thermal, but we can't see it with the naked eye. And so we're passing the thermal back and forth to each other, and we're looking at this thing orb through the thermal. Well, I handed it back to Rick, and he's looking at it, and then he hands it back to me. The orb is gone. There's a Bigfoot peeking out from behind the tree looking at us, and it was about 40, 50 yards away, because there was a tree that came up, and it was right beside of the trail. So we're sitting there, and I'm sitting there, I'm looking at it on the thermal, and it takes 3 steps, and it was across the trail. And I told Rick, I said, it crossed the trail in front of us. He said, I heard it. He said, I heard it through the gravel. And about 5 minutes after, in that direction that it went, it screamed 2 times back to back. And there was like no break in between the screams whatsoever. It just screamed and then screamed again. And then up on the ridge above us, one made what sounded like a giant owl call. It went, woo! It would sound like a big owl. And we were just sitting there looking back and forth at each other like, holy cow. And then actually, in the first week of March, Rick came down, and he brought 3 guys down with him. One of them is an archaeologist, and then the other 2 guys are more paranormal.
Mhm.
And we were out there, and I don't know what it was about that night, but I don't know how many different orbs we've seen. We've seen blue ones, we've seen green ones, we've seen red, all kinds of different colored orbs just shooting around through the woods. And but there was something that intrigued me, because the day prior I wasn't able to go because I was trying to finish fixing my car, but they ran into a buddy of mine, Mike, that hikes through my research area, and he keeps me in the loop. Whenever I'm not able to be out there, because he's always out there hiking with his dog. And there was one instance, this is when he first learned about the Bigfoot being out there. Him and his dog's a pit bull, and they were walking up the trail. He had a big jacket on his dog. His dog went up the trail further up ahead of him, and the dog came back without the jacket on. And so Mike was like, well, where's your jacket? And he goes further up the trail, and he finds the dog's jacket hanging 8.5 feet up in a tree.
Oh,
Whoa.
So me and Mike kicked it off. I was like, you really think a bear took his jacket off? He's like, the more I think about it, no. And so he told Rick and them that he found a cage in my research area. Now, there's only one way in to this place. And the way he was describing it, I knew exactly where he was talking about. I've just never seen a cage there, because, like I said, there's only one way in to this place. And this cage is way, way over in this holler, that the only way a cage could be dropped down into this place was by a freaking helicopter.
mm-hmm.
And I asked him how big was the cage. He said it's about 5 foot tall and about 3.5, 4 foot wide. But he said he said it was weird. He said it didn't look like a bear cage or anything like that. So myself and Rick and Alan, we decided to try and get down there to find this cage. And it was probably about 15-20 minutes before dark, and we're going down in this holler. And this holler is very sentimental and special to me, because I had a good friend of mine, George Lunsford, with me when we seen the Bigfoot we named Alfalfa. That was the first Bigfoot that he had ever seen. He had never seen one, so that was pretty cool to share that experience with him. And we're going down into this holler, and I call it the danger zone, because there's like a 20 yard wide slot where you can walk down through this, but you're surrounded by these ridges that are covered in mountain laurels. And these mountain laurels, they don't die off during the wintertime. They stay green year round. So it's excellent cover for these things to hide in. And we're walking down through here. Now, Alan is kind of skeptical when it comes to Bigfoot. And we found this big old log. I mean, I don't know how, it was at least 12, 13 inches across. And it was perfectly balanced on two smaller trees. And I told him, I said, now, how does that happen? He said, you've showed me a lot of crazy stuff today. He said, but that looks like that was placed there with intent. And I told him, I said, yeah, you think? And no sooner after I said that, we heard, whoo, it's like a big exhale. And I looked at Alan and I said, did you hear that? He said, yeah. He said, what was it? I said, I think it's a Bigfoot. And I caught a glimpse of movement up above us. You know, it was just real quick, just the laurels was moving, and I caught a flash of black. And so we're standing there, and I'm like, I really don't like this spot, because we're down, we have the low ground. We're in the worst possible spot we could be in, and and then we can hear more movement on the other side of us. And I was like, you know what? Let's just get back up here to where we're having base camp at, because I don't like this. You got to put. That's what I always tell people. You can't go out. You can't just sit on the couch and expect to just go out in the woods maybe a couple of times and luck up and have an experience. You got to keep going. You got to put yourself in that position to have an experience or an encounter, because the ones in my area, I think they've pretty much got used to me now. Heck, they probably think I'm one of them, as tall as I am, just probably wondering why I ain't got no fur.
And you're pretty skinny too, so you need to put on some weight.
Yeah, they can use me as a toothpick.
That's crazy.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm jealous because I really want to get up there in this area where you're talking about. And one of these days I'm going to. I'm going to make it a point to come up see you, and we're going to go out.
Hey, let me ask you a question. I'm about to show you something.
All right.
So I found these in July of last year. Now these are claw marks. There's five digits, 18 inches from claw to claw. Huge claw marks. There's a 3 inch, about 3.5 inch gap between each claw. But tell me what the heck leaves this? Because I've been finding them more and more.
Oh wow!
Tell me what in the heck is a claw mark like that?
Aside from a huge ass bear, I don't know.
Yeah.
There ain't no grizzly bears in the Great Smoky Mountains, and if that's a black bear, that's the granddaddy of all of them.
Yeah.
Truth. Wow. So is that where you captured that? Was that in your area where you research?
Nope.
No.
I was just turkey hunting. I wasn't even out researching. I didn't even have a back camera going because I was just going out turkey hunting because that was the first time turkey hunting since the spring of 2020. Whenever, because I was able to hunt that year, the spring, not the fall, because I had that first encounter with the Bigfoot. So that was the first time turkey hunting of April 28th, 2024. That was the first time spring turkey hunting since spring of 2020.
Have you found anything like that since?
I've been finding more claw marks. Yeah.
Wow.
Not on as big
like
as
that or up high.
They're a little bit higher this time, not as low. I think that thing came out from behind the tree and just like pushed off. I think that's what I'm getting out of it.
Yeah.
Well, either that or it's marking.
Game trail right there. Right beside of that tree was a game trail.
Well, it may be marking too. I mean, that's very possible. But I suggest that you take scrapings from inside the claw marks.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I'll do that. Yeah.
That picture again, was there blood marks or is that just from the wood?
That's just from the wood.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's just from the wood.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I would hate to see what left those. I ain't got my track with me. It's in storage because I ain't brought it here yet, but I casted a 17-inch track in October. It was the third Saturday of October, whatever date that was. It was when Tennessee played Alabama. That's all I know, and I know we beat them. So that was all.
It's a damn shame that these things don't exist, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, I know, right?
We're making it all up.
Yeah. The real deal. So my wife, she didn't believe in it. She accepted me and supported me for what I do. She just had a hard time believing it. Well, on her birthday last year, we went on a hike. Not to my research area. I went somewhere different. And I didn't tell her, but I had somebody reach out and said that they seen one up there. But I didn't tell her that. She still don't know that to this day. Because we went up to this waterfall called Wolf Creek Falls. And it was a good hour and a half hike up there. And we were on our way back out. And she's in front of me and I'm behind her. And we're walking down a trail. And all of a sudden, we could hear something paralleling us to our right. And she said, she stopped and she said, something's following us. I said, yeah, it's probably a Bigfoot. She said, are you serious? I said, yeah. Well, all of a sudden, a big old rock comes flying from that direction and lands right in front of her. And she said, oh my God. She said, what do we do? I said, we stay calm for one. What does she do? She takes off running. Well, she didn't have on no hiking boots today. She wore her little sandals. And I'm trying to keep up with her. And next thing I know, she's on the ground screaming. And sure enough, broke her ankle. So what was an hour and a half hike turned into 3 hours because I had to carry her back out of there. And I had to pick her up. And that was horrible. And then the next thing I know, it became a dang on monsoon on us. And that was what made it even worse.
Man. Wow.
But she don't want nothing to do with them anymore.
I can't
She
say I
has
don't
run
blame
back out.
Yeah, she don't want nothing to do with it.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
Yeah, as soon as you said she started running, I thought, oh gosh, here we go. Here we go.
Them rocks were slick, and sure enough, she rolled that ankle and broke it.
Ugh.
Yeah, of all days, her birthday.
Oh wow.
Sounds like one of my birthdays.
Well, it's one of those, fight or flight modes, and
Yeah.
Hey, she took flight. She took flight because she was moving. I ain't never seen my wife move like that.
Well, that's one birthday that she'll never forget, I guess.
Right.
No.
Wow.
I always aggravate her about it. I'm like, the Bigfoot scared you that day. She said, no, it didn't. I just got startled. I said, you were scared.
Yeah.
and you know what? There's nothing wrong with being scared with Bigfoot around you. I'm just saying. I had that happen, and it kind of freaked me out. Not gonna lie. So nothing wrong with that. Have you been out and heard anything like similar, like to the chatter or Sierra sounds or anything like that out in the woods?
I heard the chatter. So there's a prime example of this. It was myself and George and Robert. We were walking up the trail. I was in front, Robert was behind me, and George was in the back. And we were walking up the trail. And George said, "Are y'all talking?" And me and Robert turned around and looked at him like, "No, we're hiking." And he said, "Somebody's talking." I said, "Where?" He said, "It sounds like it's coming from in front of us." And I said, "I don't hear nothing." And Robert said, "Well, Lord, no, I don't hear nothing." And then all of a sudden, I was like, he's got to be hearing that samurai chatter. And then, me and Robert never heard it, but George was like, "I keep hearing it." And sure enough, we think that's what it was. And then when we were on our way back out, we split up. We split up in increments. So I went first, and then I would radio over when I got to a certain point, and then the next person would go. And as we're hiking down through there, I get the nerve to go down into that holler where me and George had seen Alfalfa. And I'm walking down through there, and George radioed over to me. He said, "I'm going to whistle." I said, "All right." So George whistled. Sure enough, one responded up on top of the ridge. And George said, "I got a response. Did you hear it?" I said, "Yep." And then Robert's just in his own little world on down the trail doing his own thing. And sure enough, George said, "I'm going to whistle again." Well, George kept walking down the trail a little bit, and he whistled again. There was another whistle response about halfway down the ridge. Sure enough, George said, "Did you hear that?" I said, "Yep." I said, "They're talking back to you." And then George gets down to where he's right above from me, and I'm just down in that holler, and I'm walking around looking. And I get all caught up in the bars. I'm trying to work my way back up to George. I'm cussing and throwing a fit from these bars, eating me alive. And the radio stopped working, and I'm just shaking and throwing a fist. And George was like, "Well, what the crap's he doing?" And then sure enough, George whistled again. And now I never did hear it because I was cussing and throwing a fit. But apparently behind me, one whistled. So,
Wow.
and then actually, there was another instance where I experienced the samurai chatter. I can tell you the exact date. Hang on a second. It was December 12th. I went out. I got out there a little later than what I wanted to. And I found a footprint. And I poured it in there, and I was casting it, setting it up. And all of a sudden, I can hear two sets of bipedal footsteps coming towards me. And I'm just like, holy cow. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to get this out of here. And I'm sitting there, I'm crouched down beside this thing, and I'm tapping it to make sure it's hardening up, and it is. And all of a sudden, I hear them, blah, 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 blah. And then they were talking back and forth to each other, and I was like, okay, this is odd. But there was a tone difference. One of them sounded like a bigger one because it had a deeper chatter. But then the other one sounded like it may have been a younger one. And I got to looking down at that track that I had poured, and I was like, that's got to be a juvenile, because it was about as long as my foot, about 12 inches. And I was sitting there, and I was like, that's why I always tell people, these things ain't born 8 feet tall. You know, they raised young, and I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I guarantee you this big one's cussing this little one out for leaving this footprint. And that was the only thing that I could ever come up with, because they were going back and forth at each other. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not pushing my luck. And I was actually on the phone with my buddy Daniel Hamilton from the Cryptid Podcast. I'm like, dude, I have a track casted, and I said they're literally right beside of me, freaking talking. And I just get overwhelmed. I'm like, you know what? It's getting darker. I'm not pushing my luck. I'm getting out of here. And I left that cast, and I come back the next morning. I got up right before dawn, and I pulled into that area right at daylight, and I was the only person in there. So I go to where that track was I had poured. It was gone.
The cast was gone?
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't want you to have that.
And I don't know if it ever happened before. I don't. That's what I was like. I was like, I don't know if that's ever happened to anybody.
No, I've never heard that happen.
Unless they just want a-holes to me, like, haha.
So there's something that I've been wanting to try. I haven't tried it yet. I've got a pretty good feeling that it's going to work. The that rubberized tool coating. It's like plastic dip or something like that. Yeah. I want to try using that to get tracks with.
Wow.
Try dental stone, like what they use to make cavities and stuff. That's what I use.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, if you use this stuff, even after it sets, it's pliable. You can just roll that thing up, stick it in your backpack. You don't have to worry about breaking it. You don't have to.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's rubbery. Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
And then you could actually use it later to make, to make an actual cast of it if you needed to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is true. Yeah, you could get sand or something and make the mold out of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's smart. Yeah, I like that idea, Tex.
I have my moments, but a broken clock twice a day, that type of thing. So
that's me. Every morning I wake up, I go to the gas station, get me a Red Bull. I gotta get my wings every morning.
That's right.
There you go. Well, I had to, black out my screen just a minute ago because, people talk about, I was, their legs fell asleep while sitting on the toilet.
Oh,
I have never had that happen until now. I'm just saying.
you did
So I
when
have
was the
to
last
go down
time you
and
sat on the
walk
toilet
around.
for an hour?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, before I said that, my legs fell asleep, while I was on the toilet. I'm like, how does that happen?
Well,
Well,
the
now
funny
you know.
thing, that's why I had to block myself out because she poked her head out and I just lost it. I just sorry.
Well, I'll tell you girls this. It's a skill that you have to learn. Okay.
Here we go.
Ask any guy, and it's a skill that every guy has, is to sit on the toilet for a long time and read. So
Or go through TikTok. Go through TikTok. To be honest,
Angry Birds.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know. I don't know how y'all do it. I had to get up, walk around, and come back. I mean, what are you gonna do? You gotta do that. I mean, I don't know.
That's great.
Sorry. Welcome to the live show. Hey.
Yeah. Brandy on the toilet for an hour.
If you're just joining us, Brandy is in the bathroom right now on the
Literally
toilet.
sitting on the toilet.
Yeah.
Yes.
With the pillow because the toilet was too hard. So she come and got one of our gazillion pillows we have on these two beds out here. Between us, there's like 10 pillows out here.
Yes. And I said, I told her, I said, do not let me put this back on the bed. Make sure I throw it on the floor.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
don't sleep with that, Brandy. Don't sleep with that.
Nope. I ain't sleeping with this one, I guarantee you. I'm not doing it. That's
no, it's your butt. If you're that worried about your butt,
I'm not worried about my butt. I'm worried about the side facing down on the toilet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Rod
Well,
says
you're supposed to put the lid down, not put it on the ring of the toilet. Good God, woman.
Tex. I think he's more blonde than I am. I swear. I swear. I got a brain cell or two. That's it. That's it. I mean, I do go out in the woods with Tex. That tells you right there that I may not be that smart.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, no, I was like, they could have made this toilet a little bit easier to sit on.
Remember back in the day when the toilets had cushions on them?
I do remember those.
Like when
And
you would
colored.
sit there when you get sweaty.
Yeah.
I think that's before my time.
Yeah. I
You
think
get
it
up
was.
and you hear,
The seat
Oh
comes
my
up with you
gosh.
and slams down.
Right? Absolutely.
Oh,
Yes,
Yes, Ron,
Riley.
she
I
is.
am sitting on a toilet. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
oh man.
oh my gosh.
I mean, I had to meet Harley. You know, I had to do something.
Yeah. I had to meet Brandy.
What a
and
crappy
Tex.
show.
Bless your heart.
Well, this show went to poop, didn't it?
Yeah.
It started out like that. My wife.
This show went right in the toilet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep. Oh man.
Just throw it down the crapper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God, it's
man.
hilarious. You guys are so funny.
There's going to be so many jokes. There's going to be just so
Oh,
many
yeah.
jokes. I mean, how can you?
Yep. Plenty of shorts to come from this one.
yeah. I think I'm going to buy Brandy a little miniature toilet.
Yeah, there you go. Get a little key fob.
Keep
Yeah.
on toilet.
Right, a little toilet. You know that. I mean, that just shows you how dedicated I am to doing the show.
Hey, that's dedication right there to sit on a toilet
Yep.
for an hour and 7 minutes. That's dedication. I don't care what anybody says. Brandy, that's dedication.
Mhm.
So Brandy will now be literally the butt of all jokes.
Hey, she's queen of the throne. She's queen of the throne.
Oh,
Oh.
Shall I do my wave now? Hi, everybody.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So, Brandy,
Oh,
when this
man.
is over, you need to, when you get off, take a picture of where you were at and everything, and so you can show everybody.
yeah.
I will. So everybody hop on over to Facebook to the Blondes and Booze page, and I will post it there.
There you go.
Mhm.
You know, we've been known to, like, when we go places, like, it is never dull with Brandy and I in hotel rooms. I'm just saying, because we've been known to take chairs on rollies and 2 o'clock in the morning run up and down the hallways. We do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all over
And we
the place.
found ourselves doing it.
Yeah, one time we did. We did do that. It's on the Blondes and Booze page.
Yeah,
It's a
it
long
is.
time ago, but yeah, we did do it one time,
I remember that.
maybe
We
twice.
did. We did.
So, tomorrow when you guys leave,
Mhm.
you should wrap up the pillows in a sheet and make it look like someone is in the covers, and then place that on the toilet.
No, I'm just gonna do that and put it in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Like that's where I left the body.
Brandy was here.
Brandy was you.
Funny.
Nice
That's
toilet.
hilarious.
Well, I mean, if all else fails, I have toilet paper.
Yep.
Just saying. we'll wrap them up like a mummy.
Yeah.
Wow, this
Ooh,
show
man.
has just went all over the place.
Over the place. It started off decent. Then it went to hell in a handbasket. And then it went good. And now it's going back to hell in a handbasket.
Uh-huh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, you know, it just shows you that we're real people. You know, we're like this when we're together. We're like this when we're apart. This is the real life of the Island of Misfit Toys.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it right there. Island of Misfit Toys. Yep.
That's what we call ourselves. So yeah, that's it. Oh,
Oh,
gosh,
man.
I'm crying over here. I'm literally upstairs.
I bet your hind end's real sore in it.
I'm not going to elaborate on that because I almost said something that probably would have got this banned. So
Oh.
let's just skip it.
Just skip it.
Just skip it. I'll just have a sip of my drink. Excuse me.
There you go.
Just in case I get toasty in here.
Oh, man.
Harley, where are you going this weekend?
I'm going out to my research area tomorrow evening and Saturday. I'm going to have my old buddy Jim from Fisher Spam coming up, and we're going to hit the trail Saturday. So
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. You have a couple questions. Do you mind answering a couple questions?
absolutely, yeah, bring them my way. Absolutely.
Do Bigfoots really poop in the woods?
That's like there's a bear poop in the woods.
Right. Right.
Yes. Yes.
Well, y'all heard about the bear and the rabbit, right?
Oh God, we're not starting on rabbits.
Wait.
No rabbits.
No rabbits. That's an inside joke.
No,
You know-
bear comes across a rabbit in the woods. He says, "Hey, does crap stick to your fur?" Rabbit says, "No." Bear grabs the rabbit and wipes his butt with it.
Oh my God.
How did I know?
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and elaborate on the rabbit joke between me and Paul. So, my buddy George, he's a book guru. He's an author, wrote several books, and he looks into history and stuff like that. So, Napoleon and his army apparently they asked for a bunch of rabbits. Well, they get their rabbits, and then the rabbits start attacking them. So, whenever George told it was so much better because we all started laughing our behind ends off. It was great.
Napoleon got attacked by his own rabbits.
Yeah.
I think that was the thing. Yeah.
And I just picture little Napoleon being attacked by a rabbit.
Mhm. And then for some reason we just kept going with it, and it just
Oh
went,
yeah. We
you know,
went on for that for about 20 minutes at least, if not longer. But I've never laughed so hard in all my life.
until tonight.
Yeah. This is
Yeah.
it's definitely been a fun show. Okay, so you do have some questions. So let's ask. There's a couple here.
Let's get serious for a little bit longer.
So Magical Journey podcast says, Harley, what are some of the other things that you've come across?
Three-toed tracks that do not look canine in any way. They look, I guess you could say, reptilian or gray or however you want to describe that. You know, some people say the grays leave three-toed tracks, reptilians or whatever, but I have no idea. There is a lot of quartz in this area. I mean, it's everywhere, laying in the creek, laying everywhere. Sometimes I think the Bigfoot are doing it, but there'll be like 3 stacks of quartz just in a random place. And I'm not going to swear to it, but I think that in one of our night investigations that we seen a UFO, but I'm not 100% certain. It was just very strange. And there's an energy in my research area, the main research area that I go into. You feel it. Like as soon as you turn off the main highway to get on the road to go into this place, you can feel there's an energy in this place, and whether it be a high electromagnetic field or whatever the case may be, there's definitely energy there, and that's what everybody always says whenever they come out with it. They're like, you know, this place feels ominous.
Mm-hmm. Probably does. I could only imagine.
Yeah, it is. It's a whole nother world.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next question. Lolo asked, Harley, are you near cemeteries when you see the orbs?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yep. And my main research area, and then the other research area that I go into, there's literally like a 2-mile hike through the woods between separating these cemeteries, and they're literally in a straight line, which I found odd. But there is cemeteries, and Bigfoot and Dogman, whatever the case may be, they like hanging out around these cemeteries.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Harley.
Yes, sir.
Going back to the three-toed prints.
Mhm.
They look anything like this?
Almost. Hang on, I'll see if I can pull it up and show it to you. Hang on, just 1 second. It's almost like that, but it's not. Let's see if I can find it right here. Yeah, here it is.
That one's out of Germany.
Holy cow! This, I don't know if you can see this or not, but it almost looks like it has an opposable digit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Okay.
does. Mhm.
Yeah, nothing surprises me anymore with what's in the woods.
Yeah.
But
Tell me about it.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
let's
That
see.
was the last question there.
Oh, okay.
So Harley,
I recently came across this tree structure. Let's see. It's a big one.
oh wow,
yeah.
that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lolo asked another question real quick to you.
Yes.
He says, question, Harley, did the dogman in the pic have short ears and black eyes?
It looks like it has short ears and black eyes. Yeah, that's the other thing that people say. It looks just ominous. Like I even sent it to my cousin, and my cousin, he doesn't believe in any of this stuff, and he said, "Dude, that thing looks evil," and I'm just like, "Yeah," and he's like, "You really do see and hear a lot of strange stuff, and you capture a lot of stuff." I said, "Yeah." I said, "You just need to come with me and experience it." He's like, "No," I'll leave that to you.
No, I'm good.
Right.
Yeah.
So Magical Journey says many of the three toes are reptilian.
Yeah, that very well.
I've heard that too.
Very well could be the case. So then that one that West just pulled up, that looks like a giant canine.
Wow. Yeah, there's some
But
weird things out there.
you know, and that's what I'm getting at. You know, I'm like, I think some of these things are genetically made. I mean, look at Japan. They just green lighted something to where they can begin human animal hybridization. I mean, if it's just got green lighted through them, who's to say that it hasn't already been done? Who's to say that it hasn't already been accomplished by Hitler and Stalin already? You know, when Joe Barber killed that dog man in Michigan, oh, you killed our asset.
Right.
Yep,
I
two
remember
and
that.
two don't make one.
Well, normally when they announce they're doing something, you're right. I think they've already done it.
Well, I mean, here in East Tennessee, we have 2 ion colliders. One is in Oak Ridge National Laboratory, and CERN is shady. CERN, I mean, they have the one over in Switzerland. I think they have an ion collider over there. But you start playing God, bad things are going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure.
And this company, Colossal Biosciences, oh, we're going to bring back the woolly mammoth, the thylacine, and the dodo. Okay, if you're just going to start there, then you're just going to keep playing God and bringing more stuff back. There's literally 6, about to be 7 movies about why that's a bad idea. You know, you don't play God.
Wow.
Well, the only one out of those that I get is, well, no, there's 2 of them. The silent thing, well, the Tasmanian tiger, it's not really extinct. It's just very, very low numbers.
Are you talking about the thylacine?
Yeah. The Tasmanian tiger. So yeah, have fun with that. I think they should if they can.
Yeah.
The dodo existed on one freaking island, and it got hunted, to extinction by people. Bring that one back too. I don't care.
Yeah.
The mammoth, it had its shot.
Yeah.
As much as I'd love to see one, don't get me wrong. And rumor is they're roaming around North Canada anyway. But so you got to wonder: are they really doing anything? Are they just going to bring these things out of the shadows? You know?
Oh,
I think they're leaning towards Jurassic Park. I mean, it's just kind of like they're going to bring
that's
back
why I said
things
six about to be 7 movies on why that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
and there's a reason why, I think it was about 4 years ago now, that the UK made a law against killing or harming any chimera.
Ha! Oh well, I'm about. I can't say nothing. I'll say it off air. I've got something to tell you all. This involves a chimera.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't really want to say nothing on here.
You can tell us
It
later.
involves. I'll tell you Al after this. But it
Okay.
involves a quote dog attack that happened here where I live.
Gotcha.
I think somebody's having fun downstairs. I hear all this beating on the wall down there.
I do
Oh
too.
boy.
Yeah, I do
Is it-
too.
Does it have the same rhythm as the AT Springs?
No, no, it actually sounds like they're hammering nails into the wall. Like,
The ATV Springs?
No.
yeah, it doesn't sound like that.
Oh, my
Somebody's doing something down there.
Yeah, it sounds like they're building another room or something on there.
Maybe they're doing a show in their bathroom.
Maybe.
I'm being quiet.
Wrong show.
I'm not flushing the toilet 100 times. You know what I'm saying? I'm not being rude.
That's too funny.
Oh man.
This has been a fun show. Thank you, Harley, for
Yes.
the lightheartedness
I
of
needed
it.
to laugh. Yeah.
Yeah, we all did.
Absolutely.
I'm just a real person, real honest and just a humble man, and I'm just honored to be here.
And we appreciate that too. You're great. We adore you, and we thank you for coming on. And we'll have to have you back. Seriously.
Hey, absolutely. We gotta get Brandy back sitting on another toilet.
I know, right?
Golly. Got to sit on my own throne. I ain't digging this one. Oh,
Oh man.
Only on Blondes and Booze will you see this. So just
Oh
right.
man.
that's
Well,
amazing.
with that being said,
Yeah.
of course, again, Blondes and Booze is not having a show tomorrow night. We have said it and we'll say it again. We'll be doing lives. Tex will be doing lives on Saturday. We'll be running around in circles. You'll be seeing a lot of us. So just make sure your notification bell is on and you can get the best of whatever we're going to come up with.
Hey, with that Stanley Cup, we need to get you a sticker that says Queen of the Throne and have a toilet in the middle of it.
Right here.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that Stanley Cup, we can get you a sticker that says Queen of the Throne. Yeah.
That's so funny. Oh my
That's
God.
right. Because, and I hate to say this, but my feet are starting to fall asleep now. So
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
I don't know how people do this. I don't.
You're going to have to
I'm
go
like,
help
do
her
your
walk her.
business
You're
and
going to
get
have
out.
You're gonna have to help her out of the bathroom, Krista.
Yeah, Chris.
No, it's
She's on her own.
to like Lethal Weapon pulling her off the toilet.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I literally had to get up and walk around to get some feeling back in my legs. I was like, I don't know how these people do it, sitting on there for a long time reading or whatever. I don't get it.
Oh, that's so funny. So real quick, I want to thank Kelly for the super chat and for to Kevin for that super sticker.
Yeah, thanks for the super sticker.
Keith from 1675 for the memberships.
Thank you, Keith.
And T-Bone for the memberships. We thank you. And
Thank you, T-Bone.
Walter, thank you very much for the super
Walter.
Good stuff.
Thank you
Good
very
stuff.
much.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate each and every one of you and everybody out there in chat. And if you guys are in the Shirts, Texas area, come on over and see us over at the conference this weekend.
Randy might be walking funny, but
Yeah.
I may be limping.
She'll have a cane, and she'll have her a cane out there.
Right.
That's right. Well, I've got my walking stick, so I'm good.
There you go.
I'll be all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, real quick before we sign off, for people who didn't see our live earlier, a lot of you who are into the paranormal might have seen about the Villisca Axe Murder House
Yes.
in Villisca, Iowa. So our friend Johnny Hauser has run that place for many, many years, and he has dedicated his life to it. and he actually lived right next door to it. Like, so if you went to the Villisca, chances are you're going to see Johnny. And very, very nice guy. And so last summer, some guy come in and bought the Villisca Axe Murder House. They sold it. Everything was fine. They promised him the world. They promised him health insurance, the whole 9 yards. And this week, Johnny was let go of that job, and for no reason. For no reason, because the guy is greedy and he wants money in his pocket, and Johnny, was on the payroll. So this guy also owns, I believe, the Lizzie Borden house as well.
Yeah.
And I know that at one time he had tried to buy Malvern Manor, and I'm glad that Josh had told him no. So if you guys, say some prayers for Johnny Hauser. He's a nice guy. And, we appreciate everything that he's done in the paranormal community, because he truly is, like, he's great. He's absolutely fantastic. So we are banning. We will not be going to Villisca. We want nothing to do with it. And we support Johnny Hauser 110%. So anyway, just wanted to let you all know that. So anyway, you guys, I want everybody to have a great night. And we'll see you guys on the flip side.
Yep.
Yes.
See y'all.
See everybody. Good night.
See you guys.
Yeah, I got to figure out how to end it.
Don't
I
be
got it. I got it.
Well, the outro video gone.
Oh,
All right,
no.
hang on. Don't panic. I got this. Hang on.
Okay.
Brandy, you got to sit there a little longer.
How many people does it take?
Right?
5 people.
This is the future. Evolution.
The Crossing Realms Conference launches September 19th and 20th and will dock in Richmond, Missouri. This is already being called the event of the year, folks. With an unprecedented list of speakers and special guests, 2 days of cryptids, UFOs, and paranormal presentations, along with a celebrity-filled ghost hunt, meet and greet, gallery reading, vendors, and a film screening. This promises to be both educational and fun. Go to Eventbrite.com to secure your tickets and vendor slots before they are all abducted. They're going fast.